Hey everybody, it's Mr. Sauce here. Hope you guys are doing all right. I just wanted to make a quick video talking about assignments numbers 2 and 3, which have to do with the U.S. customary system. And I think after we talk about these, this method that we can use to convert these different units, I think we're going to have success with this assignment there. Those are up on Google Classroom there, by the way. But starting off, we need to know what the units that we're working with. And the US customary system is what we use here in the United States. And they have to do, obviously, we have length, weight, and volume. Those are like the three categories. But obviously, in the States here, we use inches, feet, yards, and miles. And when we weigh objects, we weigh in ounces, pounds, and tons. And our fluid or volume, right? We can measure in fluid ounces, cups, pints, quarts, and a gallon. And what we need to do to convert is we need to either multiply or divide a specific value depending on which direction we're going, right? So if we're converting from inches to feet, right? An inch, if we think of an inch, if we look at a ruler, there's 12 inches on a ruler, okay? 1 inch is roughly this long, or this long, right? The length of an inch is roughly this long, according to this ruler, okay? The foot obviously is much bigger than one little itty bitty inch, okay? So what that means, what I'm trying to say is when our unit is getting bigger in size, okay? So for instance, an inch to a foot, a little inch to one big foot, we're going to have to divide, okay? So we would divide by the amount of inches that are in a foot, and that is 12, etc. Going down here, right, we divide by 3 because there's 3 feet in 1 yard. And then this one's a tricky one. It's not really a common conversion that we see or use, but there are 1,760 yards in 1 mile. So the big thing is when we increase the size of the unit, okay, we're going to divide. And you might be thinking, all right, if we divide when we're increasing the size, what happens if we're going from the bottom up, or miles to yards, right? If our unit is becoming a smaller unit, and we'll have to do the opposite. So we'll have to multiply this time. So instead of dividing by 1,760, we multiply by 1,760. And we multiply by 3, and then we multiply by 12. So that's the pattern. That's what we have to use in order to convert these units here in the customary system. The cool thing is once we understand this conversion method, whether we multiply or divide, going from one unit to another, we can apply that same method to both the weight and the volume categories as well. And this is what it would look like. So to go from ounces to pounds, we'd have to divide by 16. Pounds to tons, we divide by 2,000 because there are 2,000 pounds in a ton. And likewise, right, we multiply when we decrease the size of our unit. Okay, so a ton to a pound, right, we multiply by 2,000. Pound to ounce, we multiply by 16. And then finishing up, we have the fluid ounces to cups, divide by 8. Cup to pint, there are 2 cups in 1 pint. There are 2 cups in 1 quart, and there are 4 quarts in 1 gallon. And then our opposites here, multiply by 4, multiply by 2, and by 8. So that's our US system conversion chart here. And that's going to help us out as we go through a couple of these examples together real quick here. So let's erase this and let's plop these examples here. So the first one that we're working with says 4 feet to how many inches. So our first thing that we need to look to do, everybody, is find out what unit we're starting at. So in this case, we're starting with our feet, okay, or foot. And we're converting to inches. So that means that we have to find the arrow, the direction in which we have to go from feet to inches. And feet to inches, our unit is getting smaller in size. Okay, a foot to an inch is getting smaller. So that means we're multiplying. We're going to have to multiply 4 by 12. And 4 times 12 would get us to 48 inches, which would be in 4 feet. Okay, so that's the same idea. So 48 inches or 4 feet, it's the same value, just different units. IN abbreviating for inch. All right, our second example, we have 16,000 pounds, or how many tons? So we have to first find pounds, which I abbreviated here as LBS. That's our abbreviation for pounds. So we need to first find the pound and then go to tons. So we need to find out which direction we have to go to tons, and our unit's getting bigger, so therefore we're going to have to divide. So we divide 16,000 by 2,000. Okay, these zeros cancel out. That's a cool little trick, and then it's just 16 divided by 2, which would be 8 tons. Right, 5 gallons to cups. This one's going to be a little tricky because we're skipping a couple levels. But if we start at 5 gallons way down here, and we have to go all the way up to cups, which is up there at that 4 levels up. Okay, we have to first multiply by 4 to get to quarts, then by 2 to get to pints, and then by one last 2 to get to our cups. So this one's a tricky one, but we have to use all 3 of the multiplications that are in between gallons and cups. So if we start at 5 and multiply by 4, we're at 5 times 4 is 20. 20 times 2, right, would be 40. And then 40 times 2 would get you to 80 cups. It's a lot of cups there in 5 gallons. And then likewise, our last example, we're going from 3 miles. So let me just circle that, miles way down there, to inches, which is way at the top. So we have to do exactly what we just did over here with our gallons to cups, and we have to count all 3 of the conversions here on the right because we're going from a bigger unit to a smaller unit. So therefore we're multiplying. So miles to inches, it would be 3 times 1,760, which gets you to 5,280, which is how many feet are in a mile. Okay, so that's just interesting anyway. And then we multiply that again by 3 and get you to 15,840. And then one last time by 12. And that leaves you with a ridiculously big number in 1,000 or 190,080 inches, IN. All right, so that's how we convert our units when we're working with the US Customary system. This will help you with assignments number 2 and 3, like I said, and I hope this is helpful. So please watch this and let's see if we can finish up these remaining assignments there in Google Classroom. But have a great rest of your day today, guys, and I will see you in class.